Hi guys, now we are entering part 5 of the React programming. Remember I told in part 4 I will introduce to you this application called iLeo. We are now in the website of iLeo. This is just an application which you can download to your laptop or desktop. And what is important of this iLeo program? This is very user friendly for developers. And this will force us or remind us to take frequent breaks and do some exercises for our eyes, because we use our eyes regularly and for long time to do the programmings. So what they are telling, let's try to read. Eye strain is a real problem for those who spend much time in a computer. It is caused by decreased blinking while working hours, focusing on computer screens. iLeo reminds to take breaks regularly. See how it does? Shows you simple eye exercises and prevents you from using computer at break times. So what are the features? Screen blocking, long breaks every hour, short breaks with eye exercises. Eye exercises shown by an adorable leopard. So we have the leopard here, very adorable leopard, beautiful guy. And following iLeo's regulations will result in less physical fatigue. That's very important. So strict mode that does not allow to skip the breaks. So you have a lot of settings here. So go ahead to download ileo.com. So I was introduced to ileo.com from my master in YouTube channel as well. So I thanked him through my email and he replied, "You are an amazing guy." So I want you guys all to be amazing as well, same as my master wished me. So go ahead to download iLeo and experience. And if you like this iLeo, please comment in my channel, in my video sections, so that other people will be able to understand about iLeo. Of course, you can donate for this small application if you wish. So click the donate button and proceed to donate. Just to remind you, this is not any paid video from iLeo. This is on my own interest and interest to the web community. I am explaining it. So back to our coding. Let's go back to our amazing card game, part 5. So let's look at the code. So we have seen header. I'll close it. We have seen footer. We have seen model card. So let me emphasize to you that I am going to explain to you the coding and not going to type and show my typing skills to you guys. There is no need to show typing skills and explain by typing. Thereby we can reduce a lot of time, useful time. We can focus more on the coding portion rather than typing it out. And of course, all the material is available for you guys to download it from my GitHub repository. I have provided the link. So go ahead and download it. There's no need to type it. So how do we start understanding this code? Let's go to app.js first. Can you see here that the header, footer, home screen, app.css, and of course the toast, React Toastify. This is another portion we need to cover. Everything is being imported here. And we have the router, which is very important. The React router is imported as well. And this is how the router will form the outermost element, followed by the header container, where we'll have the path, FAQ, route path. So this is the main slash. That means you click here, the local host, right? And then this is the main path. Then if I put the FAQ, you can see I am the FAQ. Remember, in part 4 I was explaining to you I am FAQ. So FAQ is coming here. So that's how you define the paths in the router, right? So the entry point is app.js. Of course, we got index.js, which is loading the React DOM, everything here. The index.js, this is another entry point, and get element by ID root. So this is all conventional React structure. So app.js forms are important entry point here. And then of course app.css, as I explained to you, I won't be going through the CSS portions here. It is just giving us the front end feeling, what we see here, the nicely arranged and the colors, everything. How do we arrange everything? This is defined by the CSS. Okay, let's close app.css. cart.js, we'll take it later. Let's go back to app.js. So here header is loaded, and then FAQ is loaded, home screen is loaded. So we have to go to the home screen now. So where is the home screen located? It's under screens, home screen. So how do we load the home screen? Can you see here that it's loaded from, this is relative path. You can Google and understand about relative path here. /, that means the base path with screens and then home screen. So we have to go to home screen here. So inside the home screen, it's about 260 lines. So let's go through the home screen one by one. So what are we doing here? We are importing the hooks, which is use state, and then we are using use form, which is React hook form for validation, and then we are importing get deck and distribute cards from our card.js, and yup resolver, this is for hook form resolver yup, also for validation, and yup, this is another library we are importing in for validation. And then we got models, toast for React Toastify, icon context for React icons, and again FI award, that's what award icon I have been telling to you guys. So if I put like 6 players, shuffle, play, initialized, click one more time, this is the award icon. So award icon FI award, and short ID for ID codes generation. So first of all, remember what I have put here under the comments. You can copy this and put into your browser and see what is being explained by various channels. For example, I am going to copy this and go to the browser, open a browser and paste it. So let's see what's coming in. So ReactJS toast notification. Of course, my firewall is asking to allow access. Okay, I allow access. So you can see here what are the steps in order to evoke the React Toastify. So that is why I have put all these supporting links here. You can go ahead and open the links and understand how to make a Toastify notification. So here yup object, the number required, positive integer type. So these are all validation requirements. So that also you can go into these channels to understand how the yup object, because this is all different topics. If I start to explain one by one, it's going to take a lot of time, and this tutorial will be keeping on extending, and then it will never finish. So better we do and focus on what we have done. So all these supporting documents are available. You can click it and see if you are interested. If not, you can continue with me. Whatever I am explaining, you will be able to pick up, and of course you will be able to look at the application running in your local machine. So how do we initialize? Use state with hooks. This is how. We had to put constant players, set players. Remember, these are up to us what we want to put. These are the variables which we can put ourselves. And then if you look at this use state, there is a difference between this use state initialization and this one. This use state is initializing with a blank array, whereas this use state is initializing with a getDeck function. So where do we get the getDeck function? We have already imported the getDeck from the card.js. So later on we'll go into the card.js, we'll understand what is getDeck doing and also the distribute cards. So these are the two functions that have been initialized. So use state can of course access the getDeck as an initialization. It is something like constructor. In some other frameworks like Laravel, it's something like constructor. So unlucky players, set unlucky players, use state. So these are all initializations happening with the use state hook. Then let's go into this portion, which is the heart of the system. Return. So whenever you have a functional component, there will be a return with a structure like this, and finally there will be export default home screen. Home screen is being exported. So let's go ahead and understand what is being discussed or written in return. So these are all the normal division HTML syntax. So don't worry about all these guys. The important point is that the form is being opened here on submit button. So when we open a form, so where does the form comes from? The form is coming from React Bootstrap. Can you see here? The React Bootstrap opens the form here. So let's look at it. Form, and then on submit, handle on submit. So we have to go and understand handle on submit, what it does. So these are all the labels, the structure of the form. The form control, placeholder, enter the number of players. So that's what you are seeing here. Let me close this. Enter the number of players. So total players is this much. So we add the players here. I think if I remove the placeholder, you'll be seeing the enter the number of players. Of course, the validations come in because we have used the form validations I have explained to you. So here, enter the number of players. That's the placeholder. Name. It's same like any HTML where we submit a form. The name is player. What is the value? Value is players. Type is number, and reference is register on change handle check. So initially it may be looking a bit confusing. So let's go through the functions one by one. So handle submit on submit, and remember that handle change is very important and we need it for typing out whatever in our browser. Handle change handles that. So let's go to on handle change first. So let's look at on handle change. In order to easily find out, Control F, handle change. So you can see here, handle change. This is an event, constant value, event target value, set players value. So it sets the players value. That is what it's doing here. So set players is coming as a use state hook. Set players, here is the set players. So whatever we type here, enter the number of players. Let's press 10. So the handle change does that. So if you want to know more on the handle change, so where is the handle change? Let's check again. Okay, we can do here a console log. Console.log. Value. Enter, save it, and then let's open the console. Control Shift I for Windows screens. Close it. There's a warning, no need. So let's click here. 2. Can you see the 2 here? So every keystroke it will capture. So 20 is the player number. So you can see this is the Toastify, which I have explained just now. So 20. Then again I put, let's say 5. 5 is captured, play. So the players are there. So that's how it goes, the handle change. So let's take off the console.value. Set players, back to set players. So similarly, if we look at the handle on submit, so let's see what handle on submit does. Control C, Control F, paste it, check. So here handle submit is part of the UP resolver schema, and hence it takes care of all the validations as per the UP resolver. So if you want to understand more of the UP resolver, you can watch this master explaining wonderfully about UP resolver in the YouTube channel, and also you got softwaredude.com. You can look at it. Yeah, I want to mention about softwaredude.com, and this is one of the main inspirations I got, because this software dude is explaining how to do the card game, and I copied the CSS file from that. So take a look at it and get inspiration. You can do it in Vue.js if you want, or you want to do it by Angular also can, Ionic can. So I am just explaining to you. In fact, I think this software dude has explained in JavaScript, plain JavaScript. So go ahead and watch it. So once the submit is handled by the UP, all the validations will be in place. And if we submit the data, for example, I am going to submit it as a -1. It's a positive number. Can you see the validations coming in? If it is 0, it's a positive number. If it is a 2, it takes. If it 1, it takes. So minus numbers is disallowed. Shuffle can do, but play you cannot do. You see, validations are coming in. So that is how you do it. So I put a 0 and I click. Player must be 0 and it cannot play. Playing is disabled. So that's a great and wonderful package, UP. So go ahead and understand that. So after that, let's come again to our regular line. So this is a reference to the register. So you can click register and see, Control F, Control C. Okay, register, let's check. This is also being used by the UP resolver schema. The schema is defined here. Player is UP, and then with number required positive integer type error greater than 0 please. So this is a customized data that you can put in greater than 0, please. You can type in whatever you want to show to the user. So once that is done, let's come back to our place here, and this is how you display the message, error messages. And here short ID is an application which generates ID for our keys. So if we want to use our incrementing ID, we can do that, but if we want to use short ID, we can do that. I am using short ID here. And then finally the play button. Once we have the play button, it's shuffled and the form is finished. So let's see the shuffle and the play button here. You can see here the shuffle does its job, like shuffle, and then play button does its job, provided you have entered the right value there. So shuffle is calling the button, shuffle is calling click me. So let's see what is click me doing. Control C, Control F, Control V, click me. So click me is calling set deck, get deck. So set deck, get deck is doing the shuffling. So later on we'll see what is get deck doing, because it's inside the card.js. We will go through one by one. I don't want to jump here and there so as to confuse you guys. We will do systematic study and understanding. So get deck, just for the time being, remember that it's a function in card.js. Okay, so home screen is calling the get deck. So you can understand that home screen is the main parent, and it is calling the child screen or the child function, which is get deck, available in card.js. So let's continue further down. We have to remember this number 178 or 180 for easy understanding. So after that, we will have a function like this, tdeck map. So this is what we see here. This is the deck mapping. So deck mapping is done here, and here we have few conditions. If the suit is spades, we display suit as spades. If suit is hearts, we display suit as hearts. If it's diamonds, diamonds, and clubs, club. If not, we display null or empty. So then the lucky players are, yes, the IMO has come. Take a break, close your eyes for a few seconds. So let me close my eyes for a few seconds. Yes, I did a small exercise. You also can follow the ILEO. It's very good. I'm just blinking my eyes. Yes, I done that. So I feel refreshed thanks to ILEO. Now render me an unlucky yes. So these are two functions that we have to understand. So let's see the render me. So this is the render me function. This is how we declare a function in ReactJS. In fact, it's JavaScript function. So the structure is written here. Const render me is equal to an arrow function with a return. And of course, return will follow React fragment. Again, we have player list, but here It's not directly mapped, it's sorted. So it's sorted, and then player IDX is an index, and inside that we'll have a return with again another React fragment. We'll go through button trigger. If length is greater than 0, then we'll have the button trigger with IDX, which is index button. So once we have this, we will open the model now. So let's go ahead and see it in practical implementation. So once we click this, the button trigger is done and the model is opened. Can you see that? So let me close this one so that we'll see the full screen. I'll refresh. I'll put 3 players here. Play, initialized. Okay, there are 3 players here. Player 1, the model comes in, the button trigger is enabled. Again, we are reusing the same button trigger for player 2, and finally player 3 button trigger. We are doing that. So this is what button trigger is doing. On click, open the model. So what are the props or the property? So initially when I was also studying about ReactJS or any other JavaScript framework, of course maybe I am telling ReactJS is a framework which is wrong. They call it technically a library, whereas Angular and Vue are frameworks. But I am calling it for simplicity's sake is a framework. So it doesn't matter as long as you know the syntax and how to write the program. You are a master already. So learn up that one. So let's see, open model is giving properties IDX, player and player's deck. So if you can see here, open model, Control C, Control F. Let's look at what it is showing. Open model. Open model is doing set model show true, set model as index, set model player, player, and set model as deck. So if we go to the model, we'll be able to understand better. So let's look at the model which is under the component. So model is taking the props. Can you see that? And if you want to understand more about model, you can always refer to this links and Stack Overflow. Some questions are there. How do I make a map of models? So understand it better rather than understanding it from me, because if I explain to you is going to be what I understand from these guys. So better you understand from these guys in original. That's why I put the links there. So here model will have a header, model will have a body, it will have a title. So these are all conditionals. If text suit spades, suit spades. So that is how you put it. And finally, if nothing works out, you are going to load a blank. So button on click, props on hide. Remember on hide. So if I click here, let's click here, close. Yes, it's hidden. Or I click here, or anywhere I click is gone. So model is unloaded. So that's what this function is doing. Props on hide. So it's hidden. If button on click close, technically you can understand there is a button with a close. Can you see here? Once I click it, there's a button with a close. Once I click on it, this is what it's trying to say. Once I click on it, property on hide is enabled, and on hide will close this model. It's quite simple if you look at it. Here is where I load GI card joker. This is also conditional. So let's look at the conditionals later. I'm trying to make you understand a better picture of what's going on here. Home screen calls the model. Model has a few methods, right? On close, on open. So model gets loaded, and wherever we click, the particular functions are being called, and the browser follows all these conditionals and shows us the view accordingly. That's all. ReactJS is so simple. Understand it like that. If you understand it in a global way, when you deep down or deep dive, you will be understanding all those smaller functions. So if you start to understand the smaller function first, you will get lost somewhere, and until it becomes a big job for understanding the global things. So I am doing the other way. I am making understand you guys the global thing, and I will deep dive into the smaller functions later. So in this episode, we understood what is home screen, what are all the components there, and how React handles the key press. For example, we keyed in the players, so that's the summary portion of it. And what are all the conditionals happening, how the model is being called as a property by the parent component, what are all the lucky YS, what is it doing. So it's just generating the lucky player and the unlucky player. This is the lucky player with the badge. We saw how the badge was evoked. We saw how the players are being separated as lucky and unlucky players, and what are all the functions being called. So go through the program by yourself after you see the video and try to understand much portion of it in a global or perspective way. So don't worry, no worries. Come back to my next episode or video. I will explain to you more deeper. So go through my videos, subscribe to my channel in case you did not subscribe, press the bell button for timely updates. Hope you like the video. Post all your good comments in my comment box. So let's enjoy sharing. That is the best of web development. We can share and teach others. Others can teach us. Very good. Thanks for watching my video. Bye bye.